is up, guys? This is Zach from Angler's Escape, and today I'm going to teach you how to catch more fish in the pond. So let's say you're going pond fishing with a friend and you want to outfish them. I'm going to go ahead and show you how, but basically you want to bring 3 different setups. So that means 3 different poles, 1 to target bluegill, 1 to target bass, and 1 to target catfish. So basically the bluegill and the catfish, you're going to be fishing with worms and they're going to be bait. So once you cast them out there, they just sit there, and this allows you to use that 3rd pole to actively fish for lures for bass. So let's go ahead and get the bluegill set up out there. And so what I have is a light action rod from Dick's. It's 15 bucks on sale. It's a Daiwa Samurai, but basically it's 4-pound test line. And now let me go ahead and show you my setup for the bluegill. And so I have a small bobber, and then about 1.5 foot down I have a little bit of split shot to weigh down my bait, and then another 6 inches to 1 foot I have a size 3 to size 1 hook and a little bit of worm. And so worms are an excellent bait for any type of fish, but once I get to my pond, I take my bluegill setup, I get that worm on there, and again, you want to fish it under a bobber because the bluegill are a suspended fish species, and I cast it out there a little closer to the bank because they're fairly shallow. Now, to increase my odds, I'm going to go ahead and grab my catfish setup, and this, instead of 4 to 6 pound test line, I'm going to be using 10 to 20 pound test line. And so basically, I'm not going to be fishing on the surface with the bobber. I'm going to be fishing on the bottom where the catfish are and have no bobber. But basically I have a 1 ounce weight and then a swivel, and you can see right here it freely, once the fish starts to take that bait, it won't feel any resistance. You can freely take the bait. And so then a couple feet down from that I have a 1/0 circle hook, and I've gone ahead and thread on the worm, and you can see that worm is really threaded on there, so it's really hard for the catfish to steal that bait without getting hooked. So now I'm going to take my catfish setup with that 1/0 circle and 1 ounce weight and just fish it on the bottom. So I'm going to cast that out to a little bit deeper water. And so now I got 2 poles out fishing 2 different fish species, the bluegill and catfish, and that's some of the most numerous fish in these ponds. And so finally, guys, what I do is I take my bass rod, and this I use 8 to 12 pound test line, and I'll show you a couple lures I really like for pond fishing. And that right here is the square-billed Kevin Van Dam crankbait, and this is just a gizzard shad color. But it's an excellent lure. I caught one of my personal best bass on it. Another great lure is the jointed Rapala crankbait. And finally, another excellent bass lure is an inline spinner. And inline spinners also work for bluegill. Sometimes I'll catch catfish on them, as well as crappie. So those are some great lures for those bass. And basically now I can actively fish for bass with these lures. I just keep casting out, reeling in. The whole time I have my catfish and my bluegill rods out there with the worm, so I'm increasing my odds of catching something. And so now I just want to go over some general tips when you do go pond fishing. So as far as where to look on where to go fishing when you're at a pond, for some reason, I don't know why, but the corners I always have good luck in. So all 4 corners of this pond, I've had pretty good luck in before. Another place you want to look for in the summer is any shade. So you can see on the far side, there's a little bit of shade out there. And that's excellent on these hot summer's days because they'll hide out in that shade. And finally, guys, you want to look for anywhere where there's water flowing into or out of the pond. So over there, you can see the little creeks flowing into the pond. That's an excellent place to start. Point I'd like to talk about is what time to go fishing. For ponds, early morning and dusk seem to be the best time to catch fish. So I hope you learned something here today. You'll try these 3 setups and you'll outfish your friends. And as always, good luck fishing.